Are you not getting the results you're expecting? Might be time to surrender. Welcome to Time Out with PC. Thank you for joining me today. Kind of got a different slant today with Time Out, but I think it's a very important, all encompassing concept that most people deal with, but a lot of people have a blind side to this. So, my title today is Don't Attach to Results. So, I want, this is sort of a underlying principle in all recovery. This is a thing that trips up a lot of people, and so you might not have a problem with alcohol, you might not have a problem with drugs, you might not have a problem with codependency, but I can promise you, you might have a problem with unrealistic expectations at times and how they can throw you for a loop. So I've got this phrase called non-attachment. So if we're not going to attach to results, what is non-attachment? So here's a little definition. To the non-attachment to the outcome simply means that you're going to do your best and moving from a place of clear intention without attachment to results, how it's going to turn out. Now that's easier said than done. This might sound, I've talked about goals and dreams. Now this might sound absolutely opposite from goal setting, but it's really not. This is the thing that can trip you up because you may have missed some steps along the way that are blocking your goal actually being achieved. So, what is one of the first steps about this? And what I'm doing isn't working. Well, first you need to acknowledge that. So let me give you a personal example. I had a close friend of mine who's a professional counselor. I had a loved one that I was, kind of concerned about. We were taking them, several states away to go to a special school, something they had dreamed about. And so while we packed up the truck and packed up the car and we're driving to about the middle of the country, she picked up her childhood favorite toy, which is a baby doll. She put the baby doll in the front seat and buckled the seatbelt. And I just thought that was just the cutest thing. I thought, wow. But I became concerned about some of the troubles and problems that were starting to develop. So I called my friend who's the counselor and I told her about it. And she said, you know what? You have lived with the abnormal so long that it seems normal to you. She said, there is nothing normal about a 23-year-old putting a doll in the car and driving across the country. You need to go get her and bring her back home. So, wow, that was a wake-up call. I don't know if you've ever had situations with people like that. You know that saying, you can't see the forest for the trees? Things get in the way and you're not even able to recognize when, you've moved into a area of non-productivity. So that's what we're talking about. So let me talk about things that happen and what this is called. It's called a survival brain. So when you grow up with unmet needs as a child, sometimes your brain gets rewired. And so you think your needs are not going to be met. So you're going to have to do everything you can to meet your own needs. And so this is called survival brain. Your brain is rewired. You become over controlling. You're trying to make everything feel safe because you never felt safe. So you're trying to make everything around you just behave and do what you want it to do so you can feel good about it. And this is unrealistic. It's just our survival brain doesn't like uncertain outcomes. Much of our life has got unfinished business. We're going through a process. And so with people who are like I have been, this is a very uncomfortable and challenging place to be. So I want to give you some steps to try to help you if you're dealing with situations with a loved one, maybe you've got a problem with managing money and these things keep popping up, you keep having failures with your finances, other things along that line, because it's really a whole process of our thinking and our expectations. So first of all, you need to acknowledge and become aware that there's another way to do things. Wow. Climb up the mountain from another direction. There's another way to handle this problem. And secondly, be kind to yourself. Now, this is really tough for me because when I have that aha moment and realize, okay, what I'm doing is not working and I don't know where to begin or start over again, I tend to blame myself. But I want you to know it's not your fault. You did the best you could with what you had to work with and what you knew about at the time. But we want to move on from there, right? Okay, then another good thing to do, circumstances come into your life that are out of your control. That's a big part of unmet expectations, of trying to attach to results, is that we're trying to make an outcome happen when there's other factors involved, other people involved, their choices, their will. And so that's a really important thing for you to accept. Then you've got to breathe and take some time out, journal your feelings. I just talked to a girl the other night who just lost her brand newborn baby. And she wanted to talk about her name. She died within hours after being born. And she said, it makes people uncomfortable. And I said, well, I can't help it if it makes people uncomfortable. You've got to be able to talk about it. And so I'm here to listen if you want to talk about it. So when you're dealing with tough things, find somebody that will listen and can help you with thinking through some of the things you're dealing with. So stay present. This is another thing that's really important for attaching to results. Instead of freaking out when everything doesn't happen exactly the way you planned for it to, just trust that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. This is huge. Accepting, letting things, if you heard the phrase, let go and let God, well, this is a time when you need to let go and let God. So here's a few steps in a process of detaching from results is first of all, set clear intentions, know what you want to expect. So a lot of people just are so frustrated, but they don't even know why. So first of all, set clear intentions, take purposeful action, then work hard and have faith in what you've done in God's plan and put it in His hands. Don't attach to the results. So, detachment, let me read you another statement, from the outcome is understanding that you are not in control. Whew, that's a relief. Learning to accept uncertainty. So you just kind of have to hang there and just let things happen. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you're quitting. But even Jesus had to present ideas and teachings to people, and then he had to walk away from that situation and let them work themselves out and let people make their own choices. Here's a good verse for you. Philippians 3:13 and 14, Paul said, but one thing that I do, I forget what's behind and I'm straining toward what's ahead. I'm pressing on toward the goal to win the prize for what God has called me in Christ Jesus. Wow. So one of the purposes of time out is helping you to discover that you have a choice. So it's important not to attach to results, but you need to operate in another aspect of recovery wisdom that talks about acceptance. Now, acceptance simply means putting aside the wish that your life could be different from what it is and just continue to move forward in spite of those of that thing. So maybe you have a strange relationship with your children. Maybe you've had a failed business. Maybe, you're having a problem handling finances. Well, you've got to learn how to live life on life terms. And one of the most costly things you can do is live a life of worry. Another aspect of not attaching to results, because worry is self-defeating. Worry will make you tired. It will cost you serenity. So what's important about this part of time out is for you to realize that you're sacrificing the serenity you could have today. And one of my favorite themes is, for the Lord to give me the wisdom to accept what I cannot change, to have the courage to change what I can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I hope you'll take some time to look at what's happening in your life, to see if there's things that aren't turning out as you expected, and to just give it to God and let Him work it out. See you back next time on Time Out.